going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, we answer questions from you guys, our subscribers here to Vikings Now. I love doing these. We do these part of our weekly live shows on Wednesday at around 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you guys have not tuned in yet, make sure you guys do so and hit that sub button and lock us in. But let's kick it to Joey, starting off today's show. Great question. He says, draft Jared Verse or Dallas Turner or Latu Latu, and also who do you want? So if I had to pick an edge rusher out of those three, I'm probably going Dallas Turner. I think I'm going to go Dallas Turner. If I had to pick one out of those three, probably go Dallas Turner. Just any single time I watch Bama play this season, he just absolutely popped off the screen for me. I think he's got the most potential out of those three. And I think if the Vikings do bring back Hunter, I think if you have just the amount of firepower you would coming off the edges in Turner and Hunter, I think it would be something special. But if the Vikings draft either three of those guys at 11th overall, I would be pretty thrilled about it. But his numbers this past season, 53 tackles, 10 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. But I would be down for either one of those guys. Skull Nation's coming in next with I had a feeling I was going to get a question about Antoine Winfield Jr. As he said, should the Vikings sign Antoine Winfield in the upcoming free agency period? Oh, man, I would like to. I would like to sign Antoine Winfield, but I do think he is going to demand a lot more money than the Vikings are willing to give up. And listen, the Vikings safety spot right now, I love what Josh Metellus has done. I loved what Cam Bynum's done. Even got a young and up-and-coming guy like Jay Ward, and you still even got a guy like Lewis Seen, on this roster. But, I'll tell you what, Antoine Winfield, the definition of a versatile safety here in the National Football League. And what is the number one word that Brian Flores loves to use when he's talking about, evaluating defensive players? Versatility. And I think Winfield and Brian Flores would just be a match made in heaven. And plus, he would be able to, go play for his dad's former team, which I think would be pretty cool as well. Maybe we had to dust off the 26 Winfield jerseys if we bring back Antoine Winfield. That would be pretty sweet. But I'd be all in on signing him. It's obviously going to come down to the money, but I'd definitely do it. But it's not about me here on Vikings Now. It's about you. Would you sign Antoine Winfield Jr.? Give me an S for sign or give me a P for pass down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys have to think. All right, what do you guys think of it? All right, Johnson Yu coming in saying, do you foresee Kirk as a long-time option for QB1? Would it be a disservice if they didn't re-sign him? Do you think he becomes a Daniel Jones after he gets paid? Johnson Yu, great question. You just impressed me right there. Do you foresee Kirk as a long-term option? No, I do not. Even if the Vikings do bring him back, I think it's max, the most amount of years they would give him would be 2 years. And, I got to give a shout out to the Green Bay Packers. I think they've handled it right with their quarterback position over the last 30 years by drafting a guy and having him sit for multiple seasons. I think the Vikings have the option to do that where you could bring back Kirk, 1 or 2 year deal, draft a guy at 11 or trade up for whoever you want it to be and have them sit and then really groom your quarterback of the future. But would it be a disservice if they didn't re-sign him? I don't know about disservice. I would be probably disappointed because, I think a guy like Justin Jefferson could be looking around and being like, man, I just set almost every receiving record with Kirk throwing me the football. Now you're going to go to a rookie. And then if the rookie doesn't work out, then would, Jefferson maybe want out? So I don't know about disservice, but I'd be disappointed. And then do you think he becomes a Daniel Jones after he gets paid? Well, Kirk's been paid before, so I'm going to probably have to go no. I don't think money is the motivation for Kirk. I do think it's winning, even though he has, he has grabbed that money during his NFL career, but I definitely think the number one motivation for him right now is putting a Super Bowl trophy on that mantle in his house. Let's kick it to Roger Bong, though, saying Kirk is not going to get what he is asking for. Why would you pay him what he is asking for off an injury? Yeah, it's a great point. There was a report came out. It was from Charlie Walters, who works for the Pioneer Press, who said Kirk wanted, I think it was a 2-year, $90 million deal, fully guaranteed, which is $45 million a year of average annual salary. Listen, if Kirk's asking for that, hell no. I'm not giving him that. My offer for Kirk would be around 2 for $60. 2 for $60, fully guaranteed, $30 million a year, yes or no. And my argument to Kirk would be, listen, you got to keep your family in Minnesota. You got to still play with Justin Jefferson. You got an offensive head coach. You are familiar with what Kevin O'Connell likes to do. And as we know, Kirk Cousins has had multiple offensive coordinators throughout his career so far. I think he would do the 2 for 60, but if it's 2 for 90, Roger, hell no. I'm not even sniffing at that thought. No, no, and no. We'll get to more questions from you guys here in a second, but I do want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy, and all you got to do, you're going to choose 2 or more players, choose more or less on their projected stat types, and you guys can start seeing the cash roll in today. This is a lineup I'm rolling with for Super Bowl weekend, or the Super Bowl coming up here in a couple weeks. I'm going Patrick Mahomes, more than half a passing yard. They got a deal going on right now, so take advantage. Pacheco, I think he's finding the end zone during the Super Bowl, so I'm going to take more on a half rushing and receiving touchdown than McCaffrey. I think he's going to fill up the stat sheet. I'm going to go more on 35.5 receiving yards for him. But whether you fade my picks or ride it's my picks, do it at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS for a first deposit match all the way up to $100. All right, coming to the greatest ever, saying, if the Vikings don't bring back Kirk, what are some other options at quarterback? That's a good question. Well, I definitely think you could go, NFL draft, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. We don't need to trade up for one of those guys. And obviously you got the, 2 main guys in Caleb Williams and Drake May, but some free agent options that the Vikings could possibly sign. These are the veteran guys that could be more of a bridge quarterback here, where the Vikings could still get a guy in the draft, and these guys could be a cheaper bridge guy. And Tyrod Taylor, he would be a great option. I've always been a big fan of Tyrod. I think he's actually a quarterback that, if you got a good enough roster around him, I think he's good enough to get you to the playoffs and maybe win you a playoff game. Like, I've always been a fan of Tyrod. Jacoby Brissett, one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League. Ryan Tannehill, I think he would be a great veteran, great mentor for a guy. I wouldn't hate that at all either. Sam Darnold, probably out on him. And if you guys just want to have fun and just throw a party, every Sunday in Minnesota, famous Jameis Winston would be a great option. Mr. 30 for 30. Jameis would be hysterical to be the quarterback of the Vikings. Honestly, I don't hate it. Maybe go get Jameis and go draft a quarterback. That might be my new favorite option right there. Take him away from the Saints too. But those are some free agent options for the Vikings. As Rocky saying, is it official that Jaren Hall can't play? I don't know about if we're officially calling him a bust right now, but definitely it just did not look good. He was a 5th-round pick for a reason, and I don't want to overreact to him only, I think it was 43 snaps he had on total on offense this season, but, kind of a thing, eyes don't lie with the guy. It didn't look like he had, any, hidden talent as a 5th-round pick, I guess I could say, but yeah, I'd probably say it's official that, Jaren Hall is not quarterback of the future. And in terms of backup quarterbacks for the Vikings, Hall, Dobbs, and Mullins, I'm fine with the Vikings not bringing back any one of them. I think the Vikings, since Kirk got hurt this past season, probably had the worst quarterback room in the National Football League. Roger Bong, next up, saying, what about running back? I love Ty, but we need some depth. Great question, Roger. I agree. Same spot. I love Ty Chandler. I think he's great. I think he could be a really solid running back in this league, but I agree. We do need some depth. And, I really do not want them to bring back Alexander Madison, but, he probably will be on this football team next season. Could they go get a guy like Saquon, Derrick Henry in free agency? Maybe. This isn't a great running back class, but I'm always down. I'm always in the camp where it's take a running back in the 5th round and just keep legs fresh. So, yeah, I love Ty Chandler, but I agree. I think we definitely do need to add some depth there. Coming in from York Giants saying, #Vikings, Danielle Hunter should not be cut. The safety should be cut. Is Lewis Cine? Yeah, so I was looking at Lewis Cine. Listen, the Vikings, in terms of cap savings for Lewis Cine, they're really not saving much, but maybe you just want to open up a roster spot, and I may not disagree with you. Listen, he has not played in his NFL career. He had that compound leg fracture that he suffered against the Saints in London, but this past season he had a chance to get on the football field. Brian Flores runs 3 safety sets more than anybody in the league, and he still couldn't crack this rotation. So I don't know if the Vikings would cut him. That would be absolutely devastating, cutting a 1st-round pick, and you never really got to see him play. I wouldn't cut him. I get what you're saying, though, but I'd still hold out on Lewis Cine. Just not yet. Give him one more season, then maybe we could talk about cutting him, next offseason. Coming to Amp here is saying, get Brock Bowers. Okay, this is an interesting one. I'll stay in this camp that maybe he falls due at 11, and we'll go off that. But, obviously we do know T.J. Hockenson just actually got his offseason surgery a couple days ago after you guys are seeing this. So he probably won't be ready until maybe October, November-ish of next season. And obviously with Josh Oliver, he's a blocking tight end. He's not a true tight end. And besides that, are we really confident rolling out guys like Johnny Munt, Ben Ellefson, guys like that? Probably not. But go get Brock Bowers. I don't know if I'm spending a first-round pick on a tight end, considering you do have the highest paid tight end in the league right now. Probably say no on Brock Bowers, but I definitely do think he's going to be an absolute stud. And if I was a tight end needy team in the top 10, sign me up. Brock Bowers, he's going to be a dog in the league. But yeah, I'd probably say no on that. But as always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. Help us reach 23,000 subs here on Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I really do appreciate everybody tuning in and watching today's mailbag. Make sure you guys are subscribed. See you guys next time. School Vikes.